Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you an unboxing plus on-feet video of the Nike CTR360 Maestri 3 in the brand new bright crimson and black colorway. Now inside the box, along with the shoes themselves, they do include a string bag. This particular string bag is bright crimson in color with your black CTR360 and Nike branding there on the front. So we'll get that out of the way, get the shoes out of the box, and if you guys could take a second to leave a like on the video, it would be greatly appreciated. So here is a look at what is essentially the last general release colorway of the Maestri 3 as Nike is replacing the CTR360 lineup with their brand new Magista line, which at this point in time only has the top end model unveiled. So we don't know what exactly we're going to see from the Magista line. We just know that the CTR360s are out and the Magistas are in. So kind of sad to see this shoe go. This was my pick for my personal favorite shoe of 2012, and I really do enjoy wearing the Maestri 3. But again, I don't want to judge Nike too much, simply because we don't know if the Flyknit Magista that's been unveiled so far is going to be an elite model or something that is actually going to replace the Maestri 3 and just be at a higher price point. So this is the shoe itself. Really was happy with the colorway, but I must say that it looks a lot different in person than it does in the online photos, as we've come to expect with some of these odd colors from Nike. They give them strange names and they're kind of hard to pick up on. It's not just Nike that does that, but you can see that Total Crimson, which we find on the current Legend 5, is orange, where Bright Crimson on the CTR360, a very similar name, is red. So kind of hard to identify between them, and in person it's a lighter red than I was honestly expecting. Not sure how it's going to pick up on camera, but in a lot of the online photos that I've seen, it appears to be a very deep red, whereas in person that's not exactly the case. So again, for comparison's sake, I grabbed the LZ2 in what is definitely a deep red color, and you can see side by side these are not nearly as dark of a red as what you're going to find on this shoe, which is what I would consider to be a true red color. So this is kind of a reddish pink salmon color, so just keep that in mind, but still looks very good. And I like it particularly because it's really the first CTR360 colorway, apart from the reflective pack, which doesn't really count, that features one solid color throughout the entire upper. Normally the front part would be one color, and this little segmented piece would be another color, whether it's a completely different color altogether or just a varying shade. But like I said, this one is one solid color all the way around, which to me looks really good on the CTR360 Maestri 3. You do have your shiny metallic chrome tongue along with your red laces, and then of course your black accents in the Nike swoosh here on the lateral side, and then your one little Nike swoosh right here at the toe. And for the most part, everything else on the boot is all red, or bright crimson, I should say. So that's pretty much it as far as the colorway is concerned. Looks really good, and if you were planning on getting a pair of Maestri 3s, unless you're going to go for the limited edition 2500 pair blackout colorway, which does come at a premium price, this is definitely the one to get. It's going to be your last chance, and to me, definitely the best colorway they released out of all the Maestri 3s, at least in my opinion. So if you want more information on the overall performance, you can check out the full written review on my website, linked down below in the description of this video. And I'll also leave a couple annotations on screen to my pros and cons review of the Maestri 3, as well as my playtest review of the Maestri 3, if you want to see these shoes in action and get a little bit more extra information in regards to the overall performance. Now, in terms of technical specifications, this shoe features Nike's Kangolite synthetic material all the way around. Essentially, Kangolite is a synthetic material designed to mimic the natural feel of kangaroo leather, and it does that very well, while still maintaining the benefits of a synthetic in that it's more lightweight, it doesn't overstretch, doesn't require any maintenance, and it dries a lot more quickly. So overall, it's just a fantastic synthetic, and if you're looking for something that's going to have a leather-like feel, but is still going to have, like I said, those benefits of a synthetic material, the CTR360 Maestri 3 is one of those kind of interesting blends of modern and classic design and modern and classic feel. Very cool shoe overall. And of course, the upper is finished off with ACC all conditions control. This was actually the first shoe to feature that all conditions control thing from Nike, their technology, if you will. It acts as your wet control element. It's hard to say whether or not it actually has a huge impact on the overall touch, but it is a nice little inclusion from Nike nonetheless. You do have your passing / control element right here on the instep in the form of these little rubber strips. They do have some texturing as well as these little kind of nubs hanging off there. It essentially just adds a little bit of additional grip on the ball, and honestly isn't my personal favorite feature of the shoe. I think it could have done without having these rubber elements here. But for the most part, it's not going to make or break your experience with the Maestri 3, and if you are looking for something that's going to have a little bit more grip in this area, you'll probably like this feature very much. It does have that off-center lacing system with the laces being pushed to the instep as opposed to being down the middle or towards the outside of the boot. Again, this is a very comfortable lacing system. It actually is pretty effective in terms of allowing you to get a nice solid fit and doesn't get in the way of your shooting, as a lot of people kind of are worried about, because it is kind of right in the area of the foot where you would strike the ball. Synthetic tongue with your memory foam insert in the middle. It's got kind of an average cut in the heel area, so it's really nice and supportive. You got your internal plastic heel counter. The heel liner on this colorway, like we've seen from a lot of the recent colorways, is not a suede material. Instead, it's a smooth synthetic leather with a slight kind of perforated texturing there on the inside. So again, not really any explanation as to why it's not suede. It's not really a big deal in my opinion, at least in terms of what I like. I would actually prefer this type of liner as opposed to the suede one, just because it's going to feel more consistent for a lot longer, whereas suede has a tendency to dry out a little bit. But nonetheless, like I said, this is synthetic leather as opposed to suede like we saw on some of the earlier colorways. The insole is fully removable, features a synthetic leather liner on top. There is a little bit of texturing here in the forefoot and toe area. Doesn't really change up the feel all that much, and it's just one single layer of this yellow foam. Relatively thin, to be honest, but does a decent job of providing some good underfoot cushioning. Now, in terms of the outsole itself, this features Nike's kind of compressed plastic outsole, where it's very, very thin, but at the same time still provides a decent amount of rigidity and flexibility in the areas that need it most. You have your support beams running through the middle, and it keeps you nice and low to the ground, which is a really good thing about this particular shoe. In terms of the stud pattern itself, it's kind of a play on what you get from the Tiempo Legend 5s, but the studs themselves are more bladed in shape. They're kind of half moon shapes here on the medial side, whereas on the lateral side, it's more of a true bladed stud. And they're also much narrower in profile, so they tend to penetrate the ground a little bit more easily and provide better traction overall when it comes to pushing off. Not quite as maneuverable, but again, it's a nice blend of bladed and conical studs in terms of overall feel and performance. A great stud pattern overall, and one of my personal favorites to actually use on firm natural grass playing surfaces. So that's pretty much it as far as the tech specs are concerned. Move on next to a quick weigh-in so you can see how lightweight these guys are. What's great about the Maestri 3 is that it has that leather-like feel without actually being a natural leather upper. Because it is a synthetic, it still has a nice solid construction about it. It still feels very high quality, and it also allows the shoe to be a little bit more lightweight than, like I said, a traditional leather soccer cleat. So with that being said, I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9.5 US. Going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 8.4 ounces, just above the 8 ounce mark. Very, very lightweight, especially for something that feels this supportive and this solid on your feet. And again, if you're looking for something that's going to be leather-like in terms of feel, but isn't necessarily going to weigh you down, the Maestri 3 is a very, very solid option, even though the design is technically 2 years old now. So that's pretty much it as far as the weigh-in portion of this video is concerned. And move on next to a quick on feet so you can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and what the sizing is like. Alright, here's a look at the CTR360 Maestri 3s on feet, and from right out of the box, this is a very, very comfortable shoe. There's little break-in time required, and because it's a synthetic shoe, it's not really going to stretch very much at all. It will give a little bit, but keep in mind that the way it fits from right out of the box is for the most part the way it's going to fit for its entire lifespan. In terms of width, there's a decent amount of width through the midfoot, especially due to how this lacing system works. But in the forefoot and toe box area, I would say it's a little bit more snug. So again, if you have excessively wide feet, this may not be the best option. But as long as your feet aren't overly wide, these should fit you just fine and provide a nice, comfortable feel. In terms of sizing, they run about a half size small. Normally, I'd wear a size 9 US in most Nike products. But with these, I had to bump up to a 9.5 to achieve the proper fit. So again, if you're looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going half a size up. Alright guys, that's it for my unboxing of the Bright Crimson Maestri 3, my personal favorite colorway of the entire CTR360 run. And in terms of overall performance, this is kind of a hybrid type of shoe in that it has that leather-like feel that you would expect from a high-quality natural leather upper, but at the same time, it's synthetic, so it doesn't have any of that maintenance. It's more lightweight, but still maintains a nice solid feel on foot. So if you want something more traditional in terms of feel, but not necessarily traditional in terms of construction, the Maestri 3, like I said, is a great option overall. Now, if you guys are interested in more information on the overall performance, be sure to check out the full written review on my website, linked down below in the description of this video. Not only will you find the written review on that page, but you'll also find buy it now links with the best prices online, including exclusive SR4U coupon codes, allowing you to pick these up below the retail price. So be sure to go ahead and check that out. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, be sure to leave those down below in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.